We just learned about the harmonized major scale. We need that knowledge to analyze chord progressions. Analyzing chord progression is harmonic analysis. This is the beginning of learning harmonic analysis. Plan to spend some extra time in this unit because it's so important. So remember it this way. Harmonic analysis is about understanding how chords work together in progressions. This tells us what notes to play when we solo, play chords, or write and arrange music. In this unit, we'll learn to look at the chords of a song and determine the key and the number of each chord. In other words, is it the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, etc.? Again, this is the process of harmonic analysis. The major scale and the chords we get from harmonizing it are called the major diatonic system, meaning everything is of the scale. And soon, we'll spend time with the minor diatonic system. There's a concept called chord families used when speaking about diatonic systems. So let's start there. Chords in the major diatonic system belong to one of 3 families. 1, the tonic family. This is the family of the 1 chord, and chords in this family give a temporary or permanent feeling of home or rest. In other words, in the context of a song, when the listener hears a chord from the tonic family, there's a feeling of home. 2, the subdominant family. This is the family of the 4 chord, and chords in this family give a feeling of moving away from home, away from the tonic family. So in other words, in the context of a song, when the listener hears a chord from the subdominant family, there's a feeling of moving away. And 3, the dominant family. This is the family of the 5 chord, and chords in this family give a feeling of moving toward home. In other words, resolving to home. This is almost like the physics of gravity with respect to the emotional pull of chords in a progression, because each chord family has an emotional effect on the listener. So the chords in each of these families actually perform an emotional function. And the word function is often used when referring to the Roman numeral designation of a chord. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So again, the function of a chord refers to the emotional effect of a chord. So the function of a chord in the tonic family is to give the feeling of rest or home. The function of a chord in the subdominant family is to give a feeling of moving away from home. And the function of a chord in the dominant family is to pull the listener back to home. You see, they have a very real emotional effect and pull on you. You've felt this as long as you've listened to music, but didn't consciously know it was happening. I think it's interesting how the functions of these 3 families mimic our daily life. We get up in the morning at home, the tonic family. We go away to work or school, subdominant family. And then we head back home later in the day, the dominant family, and we're home at night, the tonic family. Let's look deeper into the families. The tonic family is the family of the 1 chord, and both the 3 and the 6 chords are also considered members of the tonic family. The subdominant family is the family of the 4 chord, and the 2 chord is also a subdominant chord. The dominant family is the family of the 5 chord, and the 7 chord is also a member of the dominant family. So the tonic family is 1, 3, and 6. The subdominant family is 4 and 2, and the dominant family is 5 and 7. Next, let's get to analyzing chord progressions. In other words, harmonic analysis. It's common to see crude chord charts that have no key signature, so there's no quick way to know what key it's in. I've been in situations with songwriters or in the studio where the chord chart is scribbled on a piece of regular paper. That's actually pretty common. There are several ways to determine the key, and then as a result, the function of each chord in a progression. Don't assume that the first chord played in a progression is the tonic chord, in other words, the 1 chord. It's really more likely that the final chord of a progression is the tonic chord, but even that's not always the case, but it's more common than not. The first method of harmonic analysis we'll learn is slow, but very thorough. And to analyze a chord progression, remember you have to know the harmonized scale. So let's do some progressions in major keys. Our progression has an A major for a bar, a B minor chord for a bar, an E major chord for a bar, and an A major chord for a bar. I'm looking at that last chord A, and I'm guessing we're in the key of A, but let's do the slow method. So we're going to determine what keys each of these chords could belong to. An A could be the 1 chord in the key of A major. An A could be the 4 chord in the key of E major. An A major could be the 5 chord in the key of D major. A B minor could be the 2 chord in A major, it could be the 3 chord in G major, or it could be the 6 chord in D major. An E major chord could be a 1 chord in E major, it could be a 4 chord in B major, it could be a 5 chord in A major, and the final chord, the A chord, is the same as the first chord. It could be a 1 in A, a 4 in E, or a 5 in D. So is there any one key that all these chords belong to? Yes, it's A. So what do we have here? We have a 1 major, 2 minor, 5 major, 1 major. And what families do they belong to? The A, the 1 chord, is a tonic chord. The B minor, the 2 chord, is part of the subdominant family. And the E major is from the dominant family. And of course, it ends on the tonic A. Let's do another one. In the following major key progression, let's determine all the keys to which each chord could belong. And then we'll determine what key it's in. This progression has a D major for a measure, an E minor for a measure, an F sharp minor for a measure, a G major for a measure, an A major for a measure, and it ends with a D major. The D could be a 1 chord in the key of D, it could be a 4 chord in the key of A, and it could be a 5 chord in the key of G. The E minor could be a 2 chord in the key of D, a 3 chord in the key of C, and a 6 chord in the key of G. The F sharp minor could be a 2 chord in the key of E, could be a 3 chord in the key of D, and it could be a 6 chord in the key of A. The G major could be a 1 chord in the key of G, it could be a 4 chord in the key of D major, and it could be a 5 chord in the key of C major. The A major could be a 1 chord in the key of A major, it could be a 4 chord in the key of E major, and it could be a 5 chord in the key of D major. And the final chord, the D, again, like the first chord, could be a 1 in D, it could be a 4 in A, and it could be a 5 in G. Is there one key to which all the chords belong? Yep, it's D major. What chord family does each chord belong to? The D chord, the 1 chord, is a member of the tonic family. The E minor, the 2 chord, is a member of the subdominant family. The F sharp minor, the 3 chord, is a member of the tonic family. The G major, the 4 chord, is a member of the subdominant family. The A chord, the 5 chord, is a member of the dominant family. And the final chord, D major again, is a member of the tonic family. That's pretty manageable, right? We were able to do that because we understand the harmonized major scale. Now, there are other clues in both of these progressions that can help us arrive at the same analysis. For example, the last chord offers a clue, as it's often the tonic chord, but that indicator is not 100% reliable. The roots of the E minor and the F sharp minor are a whole step apart, aren't they? There's only one place in the harmonized major scale where 2 minor triads are positioned 1 whole step apart, and that's between the 2 chord and the 3 chord. The roots of the G major and the A major are a whole step apart, and there's only one place in the harmonized major scale where 2 major triads are positioned 1 whole step apart, and that's between the 4 major and the 5 major. So what should you know from this unit? Know the 3 chord families: tonic, subdominant, and dominant. Know the emotional effect of each family. Know which chords belong to each family in a major key. The tonic family is the 1 chord, 3 chord, and the 6 chord. Subdominant family is the 4 chord and the 2 chord. And the dominant family is the 5 chord and the 7 chord. Know how to use the slow and thorough way to analyze a chord progression. Now we're really getting into the meaty parts of harmony and theory now. Harmonic analysis is the beginning of a real understanding of what's going on inside a song. Understanding the harmony will open your mind to options you wouldn't have without the knowledge. Practice analyzing all kinds of songs that you already know. Find songs or parts of songs and see if you can figure out each chord's number, and that's its function, right? Which tells you to which chord family each one belongs. We'll see you in the next unit. If you find this video helpful, Please be sure to click on the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. You can also click the link in the description below to check out the full fretboard biology course when you are ready for a more intensive training program. We'll see you in the next video.